All right, how's it going, everybody? If you go to the link provided, it should take you right to the TimberTally GitHub page. From here, you can simply click on your options or share button, and it will open up this page where if you scroll up, you can hit Add to Home Screen, and this will allow you to use the application offline. So once you have it added, feel free to open it up. And this is the main page right here. If you go into settings, you'll see that we have our basal area factor selector, where you can use different basal area factor if you want to use a different angle gauge or something else. We have our log rule selector, our Doyle form class selector, in case you're in a good stand or a worse stand and you feel like adjusting your form class on the fly. And then right here is where you'll choose to select if you want to generate graphs or not. We've got a small dichotomous key here. That's all for the settings for now. To add your first species in your plot, you can select from a small list of common species that you can edit on the fly, choose your DBH and logs, and select cut if desired. To grab a GPS, you will need to allow it the first time. If you go into notes here, feel free to hit the microphone button, and the microphone will work for taking notes. Once you have all that, you can submit your entry, and it'll show up below in the recent entries. And then you can move on to your next species in your plot. Simply go around like you normally would, take your plot data, submit your entries. There's a running tally that you can look at all times. And if you need to add a species, you can add your species here on the fly. Just make sure that you scroll over to hit the blue plus sign. Anytime you hit a text box in Apple, it'll automatically zoom in to that text box. So we've got sycamore here, add it, and then we'll add our entry as well. Got a small compass there, so you don't have to swap back and forth between a different compass app if you use one. And then as you're going around, periodically it's nice to go ahead and give it a project name and save your project, and you'll just overwrite that every now and again. That way, if you do exit out of it and lose your information for whatever reason, you'll have a backup saved here. So you'll see that if you want to delete all data, it'll prompt you for it. You can delete it and then simply go back to your saved project and load it. If you do close out of the application accidentally, it will automatically reload your data. You just have to let it load. It tends to take a few seconds. To collect data for a new area, use the counter in the top right, and this will separate your data into another CSV. So you'll see here when I hit the Save button, you'll need to click More, Save to Files, Save in the top right, and then Done in the top left. And you'll need to do that for each of the CSVs that you save. Once you have all of them saved, simply go into your files folder and you can select one and share it. Or you can select them all, and I generally upload them to my OneDrive. All right, over here on the PC, you'll see I've got some preset data from a few different days of collection. Here I've got person 1 for our field day on day 1. You'll see the preset names of the columns here. Those are required when you are loading a CSV, and we'll discuss that here in a little bit. Just those first 6 column names are required. All of the other data below will be automatically ignored when you are adding your CSV, and it simply focuses on your plot data right here. So here on the TimberTally main webpage, go to your project management, and you can load your saved CSVs. So here I'm loading person 1 for day 1. It will prompt you here if you want to make sure that you're uploading it to which area, and it's letting you know that they will be added concurrently, or together. So here we've got 5 plots from person 1 on day 1. And it shows us here our running CV plot counter. So as you're out in the field and you're collecting data, it shows you a running 10% and 20% plots needed counter on what it would take for you to get to that level of CV percentage accuracy. This is just kind of a rough idea as you're out there, to give you an idea on if you're going in the right direction or if you still have a lot of variance. Here we'll go ahead and load person 2 for day 1, and you'll see that it's prompting us again if we're going to add it to the same area, and you'll see that the areas or the plots have been added together. So even though person 2 labeled their plots 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, they've now been added together. And then I've got some data additionally from a second day that I went out there, and we'll add that as well. So here we've got all 3 of our different field days added together. You'll see our CV percent change up in the top right. And then we'll go ahead and add our area B data. Make sure that we change the area here to area B, so it's loading in a new area. And then we'll add area C as well. So now I've got all 3 of my areas, including multiple days of field work, loaded up together. And you'll see that as you change around, either in the field or when you come back, you'll see that the CV percent is calculated per area, so it gives you an idea on how you're doing per area. If you need to add any additional data, just make sure that you change your plot number to the next number before you start recording data again or adding any additional plots. Here you'll see the view tally button, and we've got all of our data together in a set tally. And then we'll go over to the settings here and turn our graph generation on. At this point, if you wanted to change your form class you can, but it will apply to all areas. So if you wanted to change it for just one area, make sure that you're running that area individually. And then click Save Area CSVs and Graphs. And you'll see that it saves them all at once. That way we don't have to save them all individually one at a time like we would on the iPhone. So here in our Downloads folder, go ahead and open Area A. We've got all of our individual plot data here. As well as a tally underneath. And then our per plot volume that's used to calculate our CV percentage, variance, standard deviation. And then we have our matching M7 data down here like it would be on our normal M7. I usually like to highlight this selection and then print the highlighted selection just to include some additional data with my management plans. Then we'll open up our graphs. So you'll see it just produces some very simple graphs based on each area. So we have for area A our basal area distribution, our trees per acre distribution, our saw timber volume distribution by species, and then our volume by species. And it will do that for each area. So here's area B. You can see it's a bit more of a recently harvested young hickory stand. And then area C, which is our young, rocky, eastern red cedar mixed oak stand. So I hope it will save you all some time in the field and you all get some good use out of it. Feel free to contact me if you have any questions or any suggestions. Back here on the main page, you'll see the privacy policy simply states that we're not collecting any data whatsoever other than the data you're putting in there. It's all saved locally on your device. So whenever you clear your local cache on your device, you won't have that data saved anymore. And then here is the README. It'll take you directly to the GitHub repository where I have all of my files. And you can view the source code, as well as some additional documentation here in the Understanding the App section. Thank you for listening.